you're on the fence, don't think about it. Do it. This storm can kill you.
Bracing for impact, Florida prepares as Hurricane Michael strengthens into a major Category 3 storm. Tonight, millions of people are in the storm's path, which threatens Florida's most vulnerable areas. We are tracking Hurricane Michael at 6 o'clock. Thanks for joining us. I'm Regina Mobley.
And I'm David Allen. Right now, Michael is roaring towards the coast, packing 120-mile-an-hour winds. The first effects already are being felt as we look live. The storm surge is pushing water onto land hours ahead of landfall.
Now, the latest advisory puts Hampton Roads in the cone of uncertainty. Within the last hour, parts of the Outer Banks were put under a tropical storm watch.
Let's get started now with Chief Meteorologist Jeff Lawson.
Yeah, from the Albemarle Sound southward, we now have that tropical storm watch until Friday afternoon. Here is the storm had a really visible eye earlier and started to lose a little bit of that, at least briefly. Could be going in under an eye wall replacement cycle, as we call it. Going to be very similar power, it looks like, tomorrow. Hopefully it could weaken some, but, you know, they do occasionally do that. Look at what happened with Florence. But in this case, still calling for 125 from the National Hurricane Center as it makes landfall very rapidly, starting to wind down to only 70 miles per hour, then winding down even more to 50 miles per hour. I've been talking about it a long time, for a few days. Then typically it would weaken to probably 30 or 35 miles per hour by the time it got to us, and then maybe re-strengthen offshore. In this case, it looks like it certainly is going to re-strengthen. So where it stops weakening and starts again transitioning and strengthening will be vital for us. If it happens over eastern North Carolina, we'll get some really strong winds that could have some destructive potential. If it happens when it's offshore a little bit more, then we wouldn't have, again, quite the severe effects that we will depending on where it happens. I'm going to talk about that right now. So 2 o'clock Thursday morning, has it weakened to 35 and continued that trend? If so, that's not bad at all for us. Let it strengthen out over the open waters of the Atlantic and not harm anybody. Or has this already been the bottom and now it's going halfway between 50 and 65 and has 58-mile-per-hour winds and is continuing to strengthen and has even higher gusts? That's what we'll be watching for. In terms of the rainfall, 2 to 4, 3 to 6, maybe even a little bit more. That will cause some problems, but wouldn't be anything like the severity of what we had with Matthew, which was 12, 13 inches of rain. And where that heaviest band is will just determine, again, who gets the significant effects from it. But overall, we're going to say moderate rainfall effects here locally. I'll have a lot more on the impacts coming up.
All right, thanks, Jeff. The latest advisory from the National Hurricane Center reveals how far tropical storm force winds extend from the eye. Right now, Hurricane Michael is about 370 miles wide. That is roughly the distance between Norfolk and Charlotte, North Carolina.
Live now to the ocean front. Virginia Beach is preparing for any problems Michael might bring. That includes the possibility of heavy rain and flooding. Crews spent the day pumping and clearing drainage systems across the city.
13 News Now reporter Allie Weatherton asked what they're doing to keep the trouble at bay.
But we're leaning forward as a city to prepare.
Preparing for heavy downpours on Thursday and Friday from Hurricane Michael.
Looking at some tropical storm force winds. Right now the rain estimates are anywhere from 2 to 8 inches because they're still looking at the models and what we could possibly see.
Public Works crews are cleaning out storm drains and culverts. They're also pumping this drainage system in Asheville Park to lower the water and prevent flooding. Virginia Beach Emergency Management Director Erin Sutton says her biggest concern, tropical storm force winds.
Could see some trees down if the wind is strong enough. Right now they're looking at it. Since it's moving fast, it'll probably have some pretty good energy moving up that way.
Another worry, Sutton says tomorrow the wind is expected to shift south, which could cause a headache for people living in Pungo and Sandbridge.
That's going to push the water up in the bay, and we want to make sure that we're there to provide assistance if needed.
And she says the city is having daily phone calls with officials at the National Weather Service to keep everyone informed with the storm heading our way.
Sutton says city workers will continue cleaning out storm drains and culverts ahead of the storm. She says if you have a storm drain in front of your home, make sure it's clear of any debris. In Virginia Beach, Allie Weatherton, 13 News Now.
Good advice there. Now, join the thousands of 13 News Now viewers using our app to get real-time updates on Hurricane Michael. Download it for free from your app store.
Staying on top of breaking news in Virginia Beach, a motorcyclist is killed in a wreck. This happened around 3 o'clock this afternoon at the intersection of Newtown and Baker Roads.
Police tell us a pickup truck hit the motorcyclist, then an SUV. Some lanes are closed in this area as investigators try to piece together what happened.
Developing now in Newport News, gunfire leaves 2 people badly hurt, and police say the person who pulled the trigger is still out there. The violence happened around 8 o'clock last night on Teardrop Lane. 13 News Now reporter Evan Watson learned more about the victims.
Less than a day after a double shooting, it's a return to the normal life here in Newport News near Warwick Boulevard. The people living in this complex are left asking a lot of questions about what actually happened Monday night.
What's that noise?
On a Tuesday like any other, the toy helicopter is flying around at the Cypress Terrace housing complex. But Monday night, just around the corner.
It's shot. I say, oh my God, how come she gets shot?
A 19-year-old man and a 39-year-old woman were shot and taken to the hospital. Police say the injuries are serious and they're still investigating to find the shooter.
When you live in somewhere you don't want something happen, you don't want to hear something happen. You want everything to be perfect.
Ulrich Innocent was in his home at the time, receiving dialysis treatment. But he says he knows the woman who was shot.
She see me walking in the neighborhood there. She always say, "Hi, Mr. Innocent, how are you?"
He says he would see her each morning.
They bring the boys to the stop bus to go to school.
But today he didn't see her or the boys. Innocent says it's a reminder that anywhere can be dangerous.
That happens everywhere, no exception, everywhere.
In Newport News, Evan Watson, 13 News Now.
And if you saw anything unusual, give detectives a call using the crime line. Remember, your tip stays anonymous and you could earn a $1,000 reward.